Scholars believe that Sufism is the solution to combat perpetually rising extremism. So, do you agree with this? And if yes, then how would you explain the process to this whole process to a simple citizen who might have no understanding of what Sufism exactly is? So, how do you think it can help combat the religious extremism?
The subject of Sufism, we have to understand it in two different perspectives. One is its pure technical perspective, which deals with purification of self, purification of soul, spiritual struggle, enhance so that you may enhance your political abilities, political faculties, and by purifying your soul, connecting yourself, I mean your inner self, with divinity, and enabling yourself to receive the divine blessing, the divine light, and removing your bad or animalistic propensities, animalistic qualities, which normally create bad characteristics in one's life, and replacing these with divinely characteristics, divine morality, divine ethics, so that you get rid of greediness, lust, all of the evil characters which may prompt someone towards different kind of sins, towards aggressions, towards jealousies, towards corruption, towards human disrespect, toward extremistic activities, towards hatreds, towards segregating and dividing communities, and so on and so forth. And then when you replace these kind of moral characteristics into spiritual, divinely characteristics, it means you receive an openness in your mind, openness of your heart, and instead of being mild, you become generous, you become forgiving, you become kind. Instead of remaining harsh and hard towards other people, you become soft, and your attitude is very, very humble, becomes very humble, beneficial to other people, and you become source of peace for others, source of tranquility to others, source of satisfaction and consolation for others. And you, instead of thinking of yourself, you think of others. You prefer other people to your own wishes. You sacrifice your desires for the sake of the fulfillment of others' needs, other necessities. So this aspect needs a proper spiritual effort, which is known as tazkiyah and tasfiyah and mujahada. These are spiritual studies. This is a specific aspect. Of course, when we talk of Sufism in connection of the society, we don't talk in this manner, because this is a specific phenomena which an individual has to adopt. And every individual of the society is not going to adopt these kind of...
This is grassroots level basically.
This is the aspect which few individuals can follow, few individuals can understand, few individuals can practice in their life, and they can become the Sufis or the Sufi, followers of Sufi path. So the whole society is not going to practice this Sufism. So when we talk of Sufism in connection of the society, that is the other perspective.
That's the second part.
Second perspective, not this one. And that is just to follow the teachings of Sufism in your practical life. One is to practically follow the teachings of Sufism. One is putting the Sufistic, you can say, it's to develop your spiritual faculties in the light of Sufism, principles of Sufism. These are two different aspects. So when we talk of the society, that what can be the impact of Sufism on society? How can we achieve the goal of countering terrorism or the objective of countering extremism and to create a peaceful society in the light of Sufism or Sufi teaching? When we address this question, then of course we have to deal with Sufism in second perspective, and that is the perspective of just teachings. First was perspective of practicing. Practicing is for individuals. Any individual who want to improve himself spiritually. There's a specific discipline for him. When we talk of the society, as your question, so then we have to discuss the Sufism in this perspective. So the Sufism in this perspective is a good morality. Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, a great saint of Indo-Pak subcontinent, he reports from his shaykh, I mean his teacher, and his teacher's name was Khaja Usman Harwani. Khaja Gharib Nawaz Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, he reports, he says that I heard from my shaykh, and I quote his words to my followers, that Sufism and sainthood is the name of combining three characteristics. If a person combines three characteristics in his personality, he would be considered a Sufi, or he would be considered a saint. In other words, he would be considered to be a friend of Almighty God. Which are these three characteristics? These three characteristics become Sufism. He says, if a man, in order to become a true Sufi, a true spiritual person, a true saint, he has to be generous like the sun. Sun showers its light everywhere. Sun showers its heat on every single person. And sun never discriminates between Muslim and non-Muslim. Sun never discriminates between a Muslim and Hindu, between a Muslim, Hindu or a Christian, between a Hindu or Christian or Jew, or a Buddhist or a Muslim. He never even differentiates, sun never differentiates between a good person or a bad person. Showers its light and heat on every single part of the world, on every single soul, indiscriminately. He said the Sufi and the saint has to be generous like a sun. When he blesses and he thinks of benefiting the people, he thinks of the betterment of someone, he should think indiscriminately. He should not think in the terms of a good person or bad, a pious person or a sinful person, a Muslim or a non-Muslim. No. His blessings, his mercy, his compassion, his love, his affection, his supplications, his good wishes should be equal to every single soul of human person, or every even single soul of living creature. One. Second thing he says, it is mandatory for a Sufi or a saint to be so open heart and like an ocean. When you say ocean, it means something endless, which has no borders. So Sufi and saint, this is Sufi, the saint, has to be borderless person. Limit his love and his affection and his attachment and his thinking and his good wishes should be borderless, should be limitless. And he should be so open that if somebody deals with him harshly, deals with him immorally, deals with him disrespectfully, commits any sin to him, even then he has to be forgiving. He will forgive him. He will never be revengeful. He will never narrow his heart. He will never narrow his mind. And he will always be very, very open and spacious like ocean. This is, from this openness, this is the second characteristics of the teaching of Sufism. And third, he says that he should be such humble like the earth. Everybody walks on the earth. And earth is always under our feet. In earth, there is no arrogance in earth. There is no fighting in earth. It is just humble. So, in order to become a Sufi, in order to become a saint, in order to become a friend of Almighty God, you have to create humbleness and humility in your personality. It means there should be no signs of arrogance in you. You should not think of yourself. You should think of others. And you should consider every other person better than you. You should consider every other person more deserving than you. Every other person deserving more respect than you. You should be respectful to others. You should be kind to others. You should be generous to others. You should be forgiving to others. You should be caring to others. You should be desiring and wishing good for others. If you combine these kind of morals, in fact, this is known as Sufism.
Okay.
Sufism does not exist, or does not, you can say, consist in doing certain acts of worship. No. Certain acts of worships, reading certain things, doing certain acts, all these things, these are formalities. These are formalities. In Islam, Islamic Sufism does not depend on these things. Islamic Sufism is not conditional with any specific dress. It is not conditional with any specific shape you have to adopt. It is not conditional with any specific place where you have to sit or live in. And you can't sit here, you can't live in. All these things are totally irrelevant in Islamic concept of Sufism. You may live anywhere, you may ride a car, you may drive a car, you may go in an aeroplane, you may live in a big house, you may live in a small house. If your inner self is changed, and all these qualities you are able to create in your inner self, your soul, your spirit, you are achieving the objectives of the tasawwuf. So if you adopt these teachings, definitely these teachings will be able to remove the hatreds among the people.
Okay.
This will create attachments between the people. This will become a bridge between different segments of the society. This will give you an aptitude of loving your neighbor, loving everybody, irrespective of the religion, faith, culture, color, and creed.
But sir, does this exist, Sufism? Does this exist outside the paradigm of Islam? Or this is something we're talking about
Outside the
inclusive, paradigm of Islam? I mean, this is not apart, like we talk about Islamic Sufism. These two religions, Islam as a religion and Sufism, they both exist together.
No,
the
no,
fundamental morality is the
this
whole
is one
crux.
and the same thing.
Exactly, one and the same.
This is one and the same thing. You will say, if we talk of Islam, Islam is a body. and Sufism is its soul, is its spirit.
That's a beautiful
Body,
description.
yeah. Body, if the soul goes out of the body, you never say this is a human being. You say this is a dead body.
Okay.
So without this spirit, any religion, you may talk about Hinduism. Without the spiritual aspect of the teachings, Hindu religion, Hindu faith would become a dead body. Without this spirit of which I have Sufistic spirits, I mean spiritual spirit, which eradicates the evil aspects from yourself. Without this aspect, any religion, it may be Christianity, it may be Hinduism, it may be Jewish religion, it may be Islam, any religion, it will remain just a dead body. It would be just known to be a set of certain laws, certain rules, to rule the bodies and to rule the societies, but the spirit would be out of that.
Okay. So, sir, how did the soul here, Sufism, which is, how did it witness the decline? If it would have been a simple solution to everything, not even a solution, even before the problem of extremism would have come on the stage like it has today. So before it would have come, before all the situation that we see the present today as is now, this would have happened, the soul would have definitely helped stop all these things. Then what happened? Where did the things go wrong?
Yes, the matter is very simple.
Yeah.
Sufism is not being practiced for the last many hundred years.
Okay. And why is that? Who's responsible for that?
Responsible for that is, for example, if we talk of Islamic Sufism, responsible are Muslims.
Okay.
If we talk of Hindu Sufism, responsible are the Hindu society and the responsible Hindus. If you talk of Christian Sufism, so responsible are the elders of the Christian society and community. So this is a common universal phenomenon. Because the basics of Sufism is, I guess, is ethical values, moral behavior, humanistic aptitude, and humanism. And if the other exterior and external aspects, they become more powerful. And these things are not being practiced no more. Just the name is being used. And name is being misused, I would say, for their own worldly gains and worldly benefits. And it is being used as a business, just as a business. So the spirit has gone. Automatically, when the spirit is not present in any any philosophy, any ideology, any system of teaching, then definitely its effects will fall to decline.
So is this the reason why the graph...
We need revival. We need revival of Sufistic teachings. Revival along with this practice, true practice. And propagation of these teachings. So we are facing, for example, two views. We may talk of any religion. One view, it may be Islam, Islamic faith, it may be Hindu faith. And since we are sitting in India, let us talk in two aspects, Islamic faith or Hindu faith. In both sides, when you think in the terms of, in spiritual terms, then definitely you will talk about love. You will talk about caring others. You will talk about respecting others. You will talk about forgiving other people. So it means you are enhancing your spiritual enforcement. As a man is a combination of two things. One is matter, one is spirit. Body represents matter, and our soul represents the spirit. So body has its own necessities and requirements. Body wants to eat, body wants to sleep, body wants rest, body wants this and that, beautiful dress and so on and so forth. So we have to fulfill the needs of the body. Of course, no religion prohibits you from the fulfillment of the needs of body. They are to be fulfilled. Body wants family relations, body wants children, body wants money, body wants all other things which you need to live in this world. At the same time, our spirit or our soul, it has its own necessities. Since spirit has come from divine world, so it has some divine habits, divine values. So it needs some, body wants eating, it needs fasting. Body wants sleeping, the spirit for its enhancement of its effectiveness, it means some waking up for night and praying, worshipping. Body wants rest, it wants little bit unrest. Body wants taking revenge because of anger. Spirit wants forgiving. Body wants hatred of your enemy. Spirit wants friendliness even with your enemy, doing the same behavior as you do with your friends. So you have to provide nourishment to the spirit as we are providing nourishment and food to our body. So we have to create a balance. What happened in the societies, human societies? The materialistic approach became more powerful, and materialistic needs were quite fulfilled, and through the governments, through the political institutions, through religious institutions, even in the mosques, even in the temples, everywhere, just the outer aspect of everything was kept, and the whole life was being run under these things. And the spiritual demands and spiritual wishes were being neglected. That's when we say we need again the revival of Sufistic teaching. I mean revival of spiritual aspects of religion. When you revive the spiritual aspect of religion, automatically there would be no room for hatred. There would be no room for extremism. There would be no room for terrorism and killing the people. You can't abuse anybody else. You can't disrespect in spite of difference of faith. You are bound to love every person. Why? Because the other person is creature of your God. Since you are the lover of God, so whatever Almighty God, your God, He has created in this world. So because of this spiritual connection, you are supposed to love His creature. He says He is Rabbul Alameen, He is the creator of the world. He is Lord of the world. He is cherisher of the world. So He loves His creatures. So you are bound to love His creature, and you cannot receive His love and His nearness and His proximity unless you love His creatures. So this is a connection. But all these things are possible when you develop your spiritual ability and your spiritual qualities and spiritual values in a proper way. So these teachings need to be propagated to the people. Then whether Muslims or non-Muslims or belonging to any faith or any caste or any creed, then this approach and this way of teaching would create a loving atmosphere, a caring atmosphere. It will create a tolerance, a tolerant atmosphere it will create. And then it will create a balance, equality, sense of equality and sense of respect in our community.